The global insurance industry is more than a market.
It's a movement powered by 3 million professionals around the world.
Together, we support communities as they rebuild after disaster.
Help businesses through risk and uncertainty.
Protect individuals as they plan for brighter futures.
This impact isn't possible without people.
That's why we attract, grow, and retain the very best talent.
Because when every voice is heard,
When every person feels they belong.
We don't just build careers.
We build a better tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds
Belonging builds
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Welcome. Thanks for joining this Dive-In Festival session focused on the Asian market. What if I told you that right now, across Asia, some of the brightest problem solvers in our industry are sitting at home unemployed? And not because they lack skills, but because we haven't figured out how to see them. Today, we're tackling one of the most urgent challenges facing insurance, the talent deficit, a topic that fits neatly with Dive-In's theme this year, building a sense of belonging and readiness for the future. I'm Nathalie Crystal, responsible for Cedric's public relations and award strategy, and I also co-chair our Global Disability and Neurodiversity Resource Group. I've been working in the insurance industry for almost 20 years now. Late diagnosed as autistic in 2023, I'm passionate about promoting greater awareness and understanding of neurodivergence in the workplace. Deficit in insurance is our industry's most pertinent strategic challenge. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the insurance industry could lose 400,000 people by attrition between now and 2026. And the market feels the effect globally. Across Asia, there's an aging workforce, growing digital skills gaps, and fierce competition for talent with tech firms and banks. Traditional hiring pipelines like graduate schemes and standard recruitment can't keep up. If we want to remain competitive and innovative, we need to drop these traditional hiring practices and look at non-traditional talent pools. So what do we mean when we talk about non-traditional talent pools? In this instance, I'm talking about the neurodivergent population, of which there are around 15 to 20% globally. 1 in 5 people are neurodivergent. That means that in a global organisation like Sedgwick, there are roughly 6,600 neurodivergent employees. Whether they're open about it or not, you'll know a colleague, a friend, or a family member who's neurodivergent. Although the cultural and regulatory landscape for neurodiversity varies widely across Asia, in Singapore, only 31.4% of working age persons with disabilities are employed. For the benefit of those who don't know, there are a huge range of conditions that fall into the category of neurodivergence. I'll list some of the more common ones: autism, ADHD, dyslexia, Tourette's, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, mental health illnesses such as OCD, bipolar, schizophrenia, intellectual disability, acquired brain injuries, and personality disorders. The list goes on and on. And it's hugely intersectional, spanning all genders, all ages, all ethnicities, and all sexual orientations. Building on this understanding, I'd like to explore the unique strengths neurodivergent individuals bring to our industry. Fresh ideas and perspectives are essential for the growth of any organisation. And the ability to think differently is one of the biggest strengths of being neurodivergent. So now I'm going to explain about spiky profiles. What we're looking at on the right is actually a spiky profile. So the dots you can see plotted in blue and black represent different abilities. So those could be communication, gross motor skills, attention to detail, so on and so forth. The black line you can see is representative of a neurotypical brain with less fluctuation in each ability. The blue line is representative of a neurodivergent brain where strengths and weaknesses fluctuate much more markedly. As a neurodivergent person, you might be, for example, excellent in communication, but low in another area like emotional regulation. That's why some might like to refer to a perceived strength as a superpower. Here are some of the skills that typically come with some of the conditions that I referenced earlier. By way of example, people with ADHD can bring the abilities of deep concentration, multitasking, and keeping calm under pressure. Those who are dyslexic can think creatively, visually, and have 3D mechanical skills. The irony is that these areas where neurodivergent professionals excel are the very skills insurers need. We have a golden opportunity here to reap the benefits of these perceived talents in the workforce. Yet, despite the potential, barriers persist. American feminist and writer Audre Lorde said, "It is not our differences that divide us, it is our ability to recognise, accept, and celebrate those differences." In Singapore, a Boston Consulting Group survey revealed that 62% of neurodivergent workers say they've been misjudged as having a poor attitude. Across Asia, stigma means many choose not to disclose their neurodivergence at work. Local agency SG Enable ran a study which found that some employers mistakenly believe people with autism can only do simple tasks, whereas in reality, many excel in analytical roles and pattern recognition. And let's be honest, our recruitment systems don't help. Traditional interviews test social confidence more than they test ability. I'd like to ask you a question now. When you hear the word neurodiversity, do you think of talent opportunity or workplace challenge? So I'm going to give you a few seconds now to type in the chat for those who are online. and the moderator is going to share those responses with the rest of us today on the webinar. So Sue, if any responses are coming in, if you could let us know what the majority is, that would be helpful.
For those in the room, you can share some answers and questions as well. What Nathalie posed to you guys.
Personally, the challenge is kind of
So what I'm hearing is workplace challenge. And
Yes.
that is absolutely 100% commensurate with the research that I've found so far. Despite these challenges, though, there are promising examples of progress across Asia. While Singapore has no mandatory quota for hiring persons with disabilities, it has set a national goal to achieve a 40% employment rate for persons with disabilities by 2030. The Singapore government promotes inclusion through agencies like SG Enable, which offers resources and recognition, for example, the Enabling Mark certification, to inclusive employers. Across these markets, there's a clear trend of both industry-led and government-supported programs to attract, hire, and retain talent. In Singapore, in partnership with the Autism Resource Centre, Deutsche Bank's Neurodiversity at Work programme has successfully converted internships into full-time hires. In Japan, MS and AD set up a subsidiary, Ability Works, to create tailored roles for neurodivergent staff. In Malaysia, the Enabling Academy trains and places autistic graduates with inclusive employers. One message is clear. When leadership is invested and when non-government organisations are involved, results follow. So let's take a look at practical steps insurers can take to attract and retain diverse talent. A great place to start is with inclusive job descriptions. So that means ditching vague terms like outgoing team player. That sort of language deters candidates. We can adapt hiring practices, for example, adjusting the interview process to reduce bias. For example, using clear, structured questions instead of abstract ones. An alternative would be to replace interviews with trial projects or skills tests. We can partner with NGOs, universities, or training academies to build pipelines. And we can reframe employer branding. Insurance isn't just a job, it's about building resilience for communities. What works? Retention and culture. Hiring is step one, but retention is where the real work happens. Structured onboarding with buddy systems makes a real difference. Assigning a buddy or mentor can significantly help neurodivergent hires integrate. Wells Fargo's offices in India implemented a buddy system in its neurodiversity hiring strategy, which experts endorse as a way to give neurodivergent employees an ally who can advocate for them and help colleagues understand their needs. Managers need training. Clear communication and feedback help everyone. Flexibility in workspace and schedules go a long way. And employee resource groups or peer networks create a real sense of belonging. Let me give you an example of a case study. At Sedgwick, when we created our Disability and Neurodiversity Colleague Resource Group, The live chat during the launch webinar was proof of the depth of feeling that comes from a sense of belonging. These that you can see on the slide are all verbatim comments from that same session. I'm going to pick on a couple here which particularly resonate with me. It can feel very isolating when you think differently from others. I appreciate the safe space more than you know. Knowing I am not alone in my experiences and struggles, I feel a huge sense of belonging. No single insurer can solve this alone. We're competing with tech and banking, but we can collaborate on campaigns that promote the purpose of insurance, helping societies recover after floods, fires, and pandemics. Collective initiatives like GAIN, which is the Group for Autism Insurance, Investment and Neurodiversity, Dive In, and NGO partnerships that give us tools and credibility. One such organisation is Disability In, and this is a non-profit resource for business disability inclusion worldwide. Sedgwick's partnership with Disability In this year has amplified our inclusion efforts by allowing us to recruit candidates with disabilities directly from their pipeline and benefit from their resources, research, and webinars. The case for inclusion is commercial as well as ethical. The evidence base is growing of the tangible financial outcomes from neurodiversity, such as profitability and share price performance. The Boston Consulting Group revealed that companies with diverse teams are more innovative, generating 19% higher revenues from new products and services. In their diversity and inclusion report, Delivering Through Diversity, McKinsey showed that diverse companies are 35% more likely to outperform their less diverse peers. After implementing its Autism at Work initiative, JP Morgan found that neurodiverse software testing teams were 90% to 140% more productive than neurotypical teams and made fewer errors. At EY, a neurodivergent team reduced a process that normally took 2 to 3 hours down to just 2 minutes. The level of cognitive diversity in teams is one of the biggest indicators of success. Leadership also plays a crucial role in making inclusion a reality. Without visible commitment from the top, stigma and silence persist. When there is that commitment, employees believe inclusion is real. The bottom line is, you need a top-down culture. When leaders model inclusive behaviours, listening, transparency, and fair promotion, they create trust. Managers training in supporting neurodivergent staff often become better managers for everyone. Bringing it all together, here's how we create a future-ready workforce. Here's the formula. Attraction plus retention plus inclusion plus leadership gives you a future-ready workforce. Neurodiversity isn't a side project, it's part of the solution to the talent deficit, and the insurers who get this right will thrive. Inclusion is talent strategy, and neurodiversity is part of that solution. I want to leave you with a question. What one change can you influence tomorrow? Can you rethink, for example, one recruitment step? Can you open an inclusive pathway? Can you share a story that challenges a colleague's perspective? Write down your one change, and if you're willing, share it either in the chat or in open dialogue right now. Sue, if there's anyone who's brave enough to share one of those things, then please do let me know.
All right. To everyone that's in the room right now, you are also free to share your experiences.
So just to repeat, that's what one change can you influence tomorrow? Sharing stories is a really powerful way to do this. The more employees that open up about their own experiences, the more others will be compelled to do the same. So I'm going to close by giving a few resources here to take away. SG Enable in Singapore, GAIN, the Group for Autism Insurance Investment and Neurodiversity, and the Dive In YouTube on-demand library. I'm also more than happy to continue this conversation offline. There are so many nuances in the Asian market that it would be impossible to list them all and discuss them all in depth in this presentation. So I hope that I've given you a powerful overview of some of those nuances. So today I've focused on the key strategic themes and practical steps for advancing neurodiversity in insurance, recognising that every market and organisation is unique and that implementation brings both challenges and opportunities. The return on investment is clear. Diverse teams drive better business results. With these insights in mind, I encourage you to consider your own role in driving change. As Audre Lorde reminds us, it is not our differences that divide us, it is our ability to recognise those differences. Thanks for your time today, and if anyone does have any questions, I'd welcome those.
Right. So for those in the room today, if you have any questions you would like to ask Nathalie, you can ask them right now. Or do you have anything to share about her session? You can also put it here at this moment. Oh, good.
That's great. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure presenting to you all today. And thanks very much. And I hope to see you all again soon at a future dive-in session. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nathalie.